Okay, not bad. We're gonna go get some fast food, and I'm gonna show you how to properly order keto through a drive-thru and what the rules you really need to follow are.
Thank you much.
It's less about the kinds of foods we're getting and more about what you need to avoid. You may not know it by looking at me, but I used to be 300 pounds, and I know my way around a Jack in the Box, and I know my way around a Chick-fil-A, okay? But let's break it down. Let's hop in the Jeep, let's take a spin through some drive-thrus and see what we can find. So the first rule of thumb, it doesn't really take a lot of rocket science to figure out that when you're doing keto, the easiest thing that you can do is just skip the bun, all right? Yes, you're going to get a patty that is probably not the highest quality in the world, but it's better than falling off the wagon. So if you run into a pinch and you absolutely need to, you can just go through just about any drive-thru and skip the bun, and you'll at least be halfway okay. But I have some other things that I'm going to share with you regarding cheeses, regarding mayonnaises, things like that. So let's go find our first place to go to. I went a little while without having a Jeep, and I forgot that all Jeep people wave to each other, and it's been refreshing to know that people are nice again. All right, so our first stop is Taco Bell, because I want to be able to outline what you can get at a place like Taco Bell, but more so what we need to be paying attention to when we eat at a place like Taco Bell. Less about the actual foods and more about here's what you need to avoid, here's what you can lean into. So the thing with Taco Bell is you typically want to kind of stay away from anything that's going to have, of course, a lot of beans. Of course, it's going to have the rice. So there's some bowls that you can use, that you can make, that are actually going to work just fine. There's one bowl in particular, which you'll see when I order, that you can modify a little bit without beans and without rice and just add a little bit extra guacamole, or just keep it with the standard amount of guacamole and be just fine. And the Taco Bell beef is usually halfway decent. There was some scrutiny on it a few years ago, but now it's a little bit better. Before, the standards were pretty bleak. You only had to be like 40% actual beef to be considered beef in a fast food setting. Taco Bell ran into a little bit of scrutiny with that at some point, and they've actually kind of brought it up a little bit. So the standard's a little bit better. However, if there's an option to get some chicken at a place like Taco Bell, I would lean into that a little bit more.
Hi, welcome to Taco Bell. What can I get started for you today?
Yeah, can I get a chicken power bowl, please? But can you?
Power bowl?
Yeah, but can you do it with no beans or rice, please?
The total $6.54. Your second window.
Okay, thank you. I'm not a big steak guy. I probably would have ordered steak because it's a little bit easier to kind of like gauge the quality, because a lot of times chicken is going to have a ton of soy. But in the case of fast food, you're running into that problem either way. It's going to be relatively low quality. The reason I went with the poultry is at least I can control the fats, because it's going to be low fat content with the chicken. It's going to be a chicken breast. Whereas if I got the steak, that's going to be a higher fat content. Most of the toxins and the negative things that are in the meat in fast food are going to be in the fat. So if I go with the leaner meat, in this case, I can usually have a better result. And then I have the avocado, the guacamole, I have the sour cream, which I'm totally okay with, because the thing with sour cream in a fast food setting, it's all the same. Sour cream is sour cream unless it's like a really high quality sour cream that you're pretty much never going to find at a restaurant either way, whether it's fast food or not. So at least the sour cream is going to have a little bit of a probiotic effect and at least have some of those enzymes that are going to at least allow it to digest a little bit easier. Okay, so now we've got our Mexican food. We're good there. Now we're gonna go hit Mickey D's, and I'm gonna show you a little bit about what to get there and what not to get there, and also a few cardinal rules to remember. Do you know where McDonald's is?
Yeah.
All right, now we're rolling in to McDonald's. A couple different things I'm gonna get here, okay? So give me 1 second here. So with McDonald's, with burger places, you usually wanna try to get a little bit more in the way of the beef versus the chicken. Okay, their grilled chicken is not the highest quality, but in this case, I could probably go with, I'm gonna do a double.
Please look for the person outside, please.
I would typically do a double quarter pounder with cheese and probably do it without a bun. Hey, how's it going? Can I get a double quarter pounder with cheese? Can you do that with just no bun, just literally just without the bun? An unsweetened iced tea with a Splenda on the side, please? And then can I also get just a side salad? And do you just have like...
We don't have salads right now.
No salads right now? Okay, no worries. Okay, that'll do it then.
It will be $9.56, please.
Okay, thank you. So most of the chicken that you're going to find at McDonald's is created through this weird extruded like fashion. Okay, so what that means is like they put it through a machine that separates the chicken. Okay, it's mechanically separated, and it's also chemically separated. And that's why it's like got kind of that aerated texture to it. Like if you were to cut open a piece of the chicken, it's like porous, right? That's because the chicken is not like full-on chicken, and it's really adulterated. Thank you. I know that with the beef patties, they're not the highest quality thing in the world either, because they're rich in trans fats and they're cooking it in canola oil and all this stuff. It's definitely not what we want to be leaning into, but that would be a go-to. And you'll see when I pull it out here, they actually do a decent job when you make them as like a lettuce wrap. They don't really make them as a lettuce wrap. They don't really comprehend what I'm saying when I say that, but they usually will still wrap it just fine. And they usually turn the cheese inwards so that it's almost like a cheese sandwich in between two patties, but we'll see if they do that at this one. The other thing to consider is, like, I wanted to order a salad here. So a cardinal rule with ordering drive-thru is when you order your salad, do not get the regular dressings that they provide. The dressings that they provide are loaded with soybean oil, and you're already messing up your diet a little bit by going through a drive-thru. I get it, but the soybean oil is going to completely throw things off. I would rather you have a little bit of oil come from the burger, a little bit of oil come from the cheese, fat from the cheese. But if you're going to have a salad, which I would recommend getting, just ask for vinegar. Okay, you can ask for balsamic vinegar, and they literally will have that. McDonald's has balsamic vinegar without the oil, and just mix it up a little bit and you're fine. Okay, and then you notice I ordered an unsweetened iced tea with a Splenda on the side. I'm not going to use the Splenda, but I ordered it as a context because rather than get a Diet Coke that has a strong what's called cephalic insulin response, that means it spikes your insulin just by being very sweet, Splenda doesn't do that. Now, Splenda, let me explain in 1 second. Actually, so Splenda can affect your gut biome. There are some papers that publish that, but I would rather have a little bit of a disruption there than also disrupt my gut biome and trigger an insulin response. So a cephalic insulin response means just because it is sweet, it can actually cause your pancreas to secrete insulin through the beta cells. Thank you. Thank you much. All right, let's take a quick park and see if they did this right. Not gonna lie, this brings me back to the days when I don't want to have someone watching me eat. Brings me back to the days when I was overweight, and I used to talk about this before. I'd literally go hide in my car and eat Jack in the Box. I'll check something out, see if they did this right. Oh, it automatically came with fries. See, I didn't even order the combo, and they gave me fries. They gave me a quarter pounder. I did order, okay, well, I ordered a double quarter pounder, which they put double cheese on it, but they didn't put double patty. So that's interesting. The other thing is, I should have asked for no mayonnaise. See, so you're learning from me here. No mayonnaise, because the mayonnaise is gonna have a bunch of soybean oil. I don't want that mayonnaise, I don't. I'll take a little bit of the processed cheese before I'll take the mayonnaise. Let's try this though. Okay. Not bad. Most of the oil that I'm tasting there, oh, I'm probably gonna be seatbelted to the toilet a little bit later. But, oh man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I already feel that. All right, now we're off to the next tip. Where should we go? Oh God, that tasted gross.
Really?
I'm just not used to that. So when I was overweight before, it was really difficult for me to kick pasta. That was my big thing. I'm Italian, I've always liked pasta. But I went ahead and put a link down below because I learned about this product called Natural Heaven Pasta. They are a hearts of palm pasta. So it means it's literally one ingredient made from hearts of palm. So I highly recommend you try it. I put a link down below. You can save a couple bucks if you want to try them. They are a supporter of this channel. They've sponsored a lot of content in the past just because I tout them so much. So there's a link down below. That way you can make pasta, you can make spaghetti. They have lasagna noodles, all this stuff made from literally one ingredient from hearts of palm. So super delicious. I love it. I love the texture. I love being able to make lasagna, spaghetti, angel hair, all kinds of stuff. So if you're into that, you definitely want to check them out down below. And if you're doing, even if you're not doing low carb, it's a great thing to be able to have just in your arsenal, so you're not having to load up with starch all the time. So special link for Natural Heaven down below. And big thanks again to Natural Heaven for making this content all possible. All right, we're heading to Jack in the Box now. So Jack in the Box was my go-to. The thing with the Jack in the Box tacos is you're talking like barely any meat that's in them anyway, because it's like all crammed into the bottom of a little like pathetic tortilla. I don't know. I mean, I used to eat like 6 of them, seriously, and that's not hard to do. But what I do want to be able to explain a little bit at Jack in the Box, just for context, is to be able to explain a little bit more about the cheese, but also just leaning into kind of my mustard strategy. And if you don't like mustard, then it probably isn't going to work for you. But one thing you really should know on keto is lean into the mustard instead of the ketchup, and we'll explain in a second. Okay, so if I'm getting a burger at Jack in the Box, which I've never been a big Jack in the Box burger guy, I would get just a regular, whatever their burger's called, I can't even remember. But do not get the ketchup, okay? Get mustard. And if you don't like mustard, hold the mustard. What I usually tell them is double the mustard, okay? No ketchup and no mayonnaise. Okay, that way you get the flavor of the cheese, first of all, but you're not getting the soybean oil coming from the mayonnaise. But believe it or not, the ketchup, just in a couple tablespoons of that, you've got like 6, 7 carbs. That adds up, and it's pure high fructose corn syrup. So that high fructose corn syrup goes to the liver and easily gets converted as fat because it's a different kind of carbohydrate. It's fructose, but pure fructose in a highly concentrated form. Okay. Now, the thing I like about Jack in the Box is you can get breakfast all day. Okay, so if you're comparing apples to apples or eggs to eggs, getting eggs at a fast food joint isn't the end of the world. I mean, I do recommend getting a higher quality egg when you're at the grocery store, but a lot of times, an egg is still going to be halfway decent as far as the amino acid profile goes. The fatty acid profile, yes, it leaves a lot to be desired. But what I'm typically going to do, like they've got their like sausage egg breakfast, I can get that without a bun. And that's perfect. I'm getting a nice variety. I'm getting some pork sausage that's going to at least be a better monounsaturated fat content, and I'm getting an egg with it. So not a bad gig. So what I'm going to get the Buttery Jack Classic as my burger, okay? Because that way I get the Swiss cheese, which is lower sodium. It's a little bit more aged, higher altitude cheeses like Swiss. I know this isn't probably legit Swiss, but it's going to be a little bit of a lesser impact on my body. I don't want the American cheese. So like any of the Double Jack, Ultimate, Bacon, stuff like that, I don't want to lean into that. I want the bacon and Swiss, or I want the classic Buttery Jack that comes with the Swiss. And I'm going to do that. Ask if they can do it as a lettuce wrap, and it'll be a shot. We'll see if they can. Additionally, I'm going to order when it comes into the breakfast. Let's see, do they have their breakfast menu? There we go. Yeah, there we go. So what I'm going to get is the extreme sausage sandwich. I don't want the ham because the ham is going to have a bunch of preservatives. The sausage is a little bit better. So I'm going to get the extreme sausage combo, or not the combo, but I'm going to get the extreme sausage, which comes with 2 sausages and I think 1 piece of egg. And I'm going to ask them to do that with no bun, no English muffin at all. And that way it's pretty straightforward. There's no sauces, nothing to it. It's pretty straight up. I wonder if this person knows. Whoop. I was trying to honk light. Okay. I will get an extreme sausage McMuffin, but with no bun, please. And then I will also get a classic Buttery Jack with no mayonnaise, no ketchup, and no bun, please. Great, thank you. Now, Jack in the Box does have a grilled chicken salad as well, but again, you kind of run into the same, okay, so here's what you can do. You can get a grilled chicken salad, which is just gonna be like chicken with a salad on it. You could absolutely do that since they don't have the grilled chicken strips anymore, which I don't know why, because that was like an easy go-to if you were just on the roll. But you could get the salad, you could get the chicken strips, and then you could just get vinegar or no dressing. But the reality is that's gonna be pretty bland and pretty boring without that. So it's almost better in this case. Okay, just get the burger patty, get the Swiss cheese. It's really not the end of the world. It's something that you just have, a one-off. But then I also ordered the I called it a McMuffin. They're probably gonna hate me for that. Anyway, the extreme sausage has the sausage and the egg. Again, something that you can have when you're on the go a little bit. There's no real sauce that comes with that, so it wasn't a big deal, just getting it without the muffin. You know what's cool? All that sodium from that couple bites of that McDonald's burger has got my veins popping. Maybe I should do this more often. If you want vascularity, go to McDonald's. In all seriousness though, I do know how to order fast food because I did live that life. And for the first 6 months of my keto journey, from about 300 pounds down to about 270, I was eating a lot of fast food. I was still eating fast food probably once a day. So I can't completely claim to be this super down-to-earth person entirely, when in the reality is a lot of my weight loss still occurred living like a typical fast food eater. I just tried to make the right choices, and as time went on, I learned what works better and what I should avoid, and I investigated where fast food restaurants cut corners and where they don't, and therefore I kind of learned the best things to order. Thank you. You too. Right, we got these goodies. Actually smells kind of decent, but I know that comes with a cost. So I think what I want to do, I'm going to take this back. I want to take a look at how this turned out. And then, Buffalo Wild Wings, that's another one that I could talk about. Let me just talk about Buffalo Wild Wings really quick. So the thing with Buffalo Wild Wings is you're normally getting a very fatty cut of meat. Okay, that very fatty cut of meat in terms of chicken, that is typically not what you want to lean into. So if you can find some kind of grilled option at Buffalo Wild Wings, you're in a much better spot. Now that being said, beggars can't be choosers. We have to take what we can get, and occasionally having some chicken wings is not going to be a bad thing. But make sure you get the ones that aren't breaded. Make sure you get the ones that aren't with the sweet sauce. Kind of the no-brainer stuff. Like the buffalo sauce is totally good to go. You can also get them with a dry rub, which ends up tasting pretty good as well. Not a huge chicken wing guy, but I do know that JR, one of my videographers, is a chicken wing freak. Hurry up and open! So that's for him. Let's take a look at what we got here, and then we'll wrap up. And if you have any ideas before we take a look at this, comment down below what fast food restaurants you'd like me to do a little review on, because I'm happy to go to different ones. I just wanted to do the ones that were in close proximity for me today so that I could kind of get the most out of it. But if there's more that you want to see, by all means, please do comment below and let me know which restaurant you want me to investigate. All right. Let's go investigate this food real quick. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so all right, that's a little pathetic. Okay, that's a little bit better than I thought. Okay, we got, so an egg, definitely American cheese. I probably should have seen if they could do Swiss cheese on it, but you never know. Like, again, the American cheese is definitely processed, not something I typically want to lean into. Let's see how this one came out. Look at that. Not bad. This is, you know what? Not bad at all. They actually made it as a lettuce wrap. They have the Swiss cheese on there. No mayonnaise. I thought they would have mustard, but apparently they don't. Let's try it. That is perfectly decent. I mean, it has that like visceral kind of like taste to it, but I don't even think I want to touch that right now. That's a little bit too American cheesy. But if I was in a pinch, that'd be totally fine. Taco Bell. Let's see here. So we've got barely any chicken. We have some guacamole, a little bit of sour cream, a little bit of pico. At least they put the cheese off to one side. If they could have done this with like a mixed green, it would have been a little bit better. That. Not that great. Not that great at all. Of course, we've got my double quarter pounder, which they just give me a regular deluxe quarter pounder. They didn't give me a double. This one tastes like fast food. I mean, absolutely, in this case, Jack in the Box takes the cake. Like this one, I could actually eat and not feel entirely terrible about, but I already feel like I'm sweating motor oil. That's just because I haven't eaten this stuff in a while. So at the end of the day, I'm human. I don't do this frequently, but sometimes we have to. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel. Don't forget to let me know where you want me to investigate next. And I'll see you tomorrow. Looks like a massacre.